Fellow Africans, since 1957, when Ghana gained independence, there has been quite a lot of political, social, economic indicators on the African continent that show that Africa has progressed from pre-independence Africa to post-independence Africa.
Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever. From now on, there is a new African in the world. That new African is ready to fight his own battle and show that after all, the black man is capable of managing his own affairs.
66 years down the road, Africa finds itself with the first country, Ghana, having gained independence. We find ourselves still locked up, controlled, manipulated, instructed, logistically supplied, equipped by foreign powers that dictate our agenda. Africa is endowed with plenty of minerals, resources, good weather. The climate is so favorable for the growth of food enough to sustain us. But we find ourselves in countries where hunger is killing people. Hunger is killing people because most of the people have taken to arms to fight wars, conflicts. Starvation has taken the place of development. In most African countries like Sudan, South Sudan, Central African Republic, Cameroon, Nigeria, in Biafra, and north of Nigeria there is Boko Haram, Somalia in the Horn of East Africa. We have taken to conflict instead of development. Development was the key indicator. When Kwame Nkrumah made the first speech that seek ye African political unity, economic development will come automatically, he was right. The events happening in Libya today vindicates Nkrumah, vindicates Nyerere, Sekou Toure, and Nasser, the founding fathers of our Pan-Africanism. The events happening in Central African Republic, in Congo today, as the war of rebels ranges on between the rebel and the rebels and the government and the rebels, vindicates the founding fathers of this revolution. Our independence, therefore, was only on paper. Our independence, therefore, was only in symbols. Our independence also was in signs. Our independence also was in boundaries. That we received our flags, but we never received full independence as by the word independence. Most of the 3/4 of African countries, French-speaking countries, have their budgets being done in Paris. Is that independence? The Paris government or the French government does its budgets based on how much they will get from African countries. Is that independence? Is this the Africa that you want? Is it the Africa that we must look at? Is it the Africa that we shall leave for the future generation? If the answer to you is yes, then so be it. But if the answer is no, you agree with me that this is not the Africa we want to live for the future generation. Our generations and the future generation need to find a legacy. What is the legacy that Africa and African Union will leave for the future generation? The wars ranging in Libya, in South Sudan, in Khartoum, in Mogadishu, in DRC Congo, in Amazonia, in Cameroon, Boko Haram, Mali, in Mauritania, the uprisings in Algeria, all point to one thing, that yes, we are not yet independent. We are still controlled by external forces. Thank you. Fellow Africans, I took this petition to the court in order to stop any future usage of falsehood and false documents, procured witnesses of the Waki Commission. I took this petition to the court 4 years ago in order to make sure that the Chief Prosecutor of International Criminal Court does not use this evidence anytime in the future, whether tomorrow or 10 years to come, to refer to this evidence because the evidence was fake. It is with this dismay and with this courage that I took to go to court in Kenya to seek a judicial review and to redeem the credibility of both those accused and the victims of this catastrophe that occurred in Kenya, that I decided to seek to expunge this report from the reports and the statute books of Kenya. It is unfortunate that the three judges in Kenya, whom I will name now, Judge Kanyi Kimondo, Judge Aburil, and Judge Onyengo, all of them sat down and gave very silly, flimsy, prudish, sardonic ruling against our petition. I want to tell the Kenyans that I have done my best. I want to be on record that should this thing reappear again, don't call me. Should it reappear again, don't say I never told you. Should the Chief Prosecutor of the International Criminal Court use this fake evidence again against Kenyans, don't say I did not tell you. My role was to go and remove these obnoxious toxins from the books of the Republic of Kenya. I therefore want to tell the world that my torrid road, a long road that I've taken in search for this envelope, has ended in Kenya so far. But I want to announce that Kenya is not the only state party in international law. Kenya is not the only state party. I will in the future, very soon, detail to you which other state party I'm going to seek this envelope to be expunged and to be made public to the people of the world. I want to thank you all. I want to tell you that a detailed document which is entitled My Long Road, Torrid Road to Work envelope will be found on www.panafricanforumltd.com. You can read it, you can dissect, you can see the days, the long road, what I took, what I did, referenced, well documented, and may God help you that at one time somebody in Kenya will stand up to say thank you very much.
A very good morning. You're tuned into Punchline Africa TV. The program is Diaspora Dispatches. This is a program that connects Africa to the rest of the world. Today we have a special coverage looking onto the news making headlines across the world, and indeed we'll be looking onto Africa, we'll be looking onto Europe as well as United States of America. But again, before I do that, let me just introduce the panel on the set. Of course, I have Dr. David Masanga himself. He's a conflict resolution expert, is founder and chairperson of Punchline Africa TV. He's with us on the set, as well as Dr. Joseph Nyanchama, right away from Nairobi. We also have Douglas Bundikirimi, all the way from Meru County in Kenya. Javan Karanja, all the way from Nanyuki, as well as Sean Wesonga from Nairobi. All are these, of course, they are all panelists, resident panelists rather, for Punchline Africa TV, and will be helping myself and Dr. Masanga, of course, to analyze the major headlines that are making, of course, the major stories that are making headlines across the world. Today we'll be looking into that special coverage of the demonstration or petition by the indigenous people of Biafra, who will be petitioning, of course, in Dusseldorf, Germany, in as far as the arrest and detention of their leader, that is Nnamdi Kanu, is concerned. We expect by Monday probably he'll be brought to court so that he can be told exactly the charges and as to why he was arrested, and perhaps if there will be any application by his defense team to try and make him come out of the police detention. But before I just do that, I think it will be important for me just to take you through the African stories that are making headlines across the continent of Africa, and it will just be prudent for me indeed to look into the Kenyan stories. First of all, of course, there's that story about the African Court on Human Rights that indeed ruled about the African countries having a leeway or a window period really to postpone elections in respective countries, considering, of course, the COVID-19 wave that has ravaged most African countries. And I think it is something that has really elicited a lot of reaction, negative for that matter, especially in the Kenyan case, because we understand the Kenyan people were anticipating highly to have an election in August next year. That is when we'll be having probably a general election. But in the face of this particular COVID-19 pandemic, will it be possible really for Kenya to conduct an election? I think it will be okay for us to begin from there, because again, the opposition and some of the lawmakers, especially those who support Deputy President William Ruto, have come out vehemently to oppose any initiative or any effort really to postpone the next year's general election, even by an hour, let alone a day. So I'll be getting from the panelists what is their thought about this. Of course, what is it they think about this latest development now that the African Court has given green light to the African countries to do this? We have seen efforts also by some lawmakers and opinion leaders, including some of the churches in Kenya, of course, giving varied opinions in as far as to whether we should have the election as stipulated in the Constitution, or if we can postpone the same to allow, of course, the COVID-19 curve to be reduced, or at least so that the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission in Kenya can prepare adequately for this election. So before, without much ado, let me invite the panelists who are, of course, with me in studio this afternoon. I have Dr. Joseph Nyanchama. Good afternoon, Dr. Joseph Nyanchama. Probably I should begin with you. What is your take about this latest development from the African Court on Human Rights, Dr. Nyanchama?
Oh, thank you, Tawish, and my fellow panelist, Dr. Masanga. Thank you, Tawish. And, firstly, in this forum, and in this TV in particular,
Stephen,
we have discussed on what usually guides any decision is the consequences. And we have always said that consequentialism is a theory of justice. What the African Court on Human Rights, which sat in Arusha, is trying to look at the consequences of African states holding elections under the circumstance of this pandemic. I mean, we have again said that in any nation which is meant well for the welfare of the people is always guided by the maxim we call the populi supreme lex, that the welfare of the people is the supreme law. So in my view, the court is right. Why do you want to seek leadership to lead a nation if the lives of the people is at jeopardy? I think that is what it was looking at. And it should be supported by the right-thinking citizens of Africa, because we seek leadership to lead people who are health and where we ensure that their human rights are protected and life. I submit, Tawish.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joseph Anyanchama, for that submission. Indeed, we have had a varied reaction, and I'm almost certain maybe looking onto the previous submission by the panelists right here at Punchline Africa TV, I may not necessarily anticipate that there's going to be, of course, an opinion contrary to those who are supporting that maybe we should postpone an election with reasons that you're giving. Perhaps at this particular point, let me now bring in Dr. David Masanga himself. The founder and chairperson, Punchline Africa TV, is also a conflict resolution expert. On many occasions, of course, Dr. Masanga has come out openly to say that Kenya is not prepared enough really to have this election anytime soon, let alone in 2022 August. Dr. Masanga, I don't know, what is your perspective about the latest development? Over to you. Dr. Masanga, if you can hear me.
I hear you, Tawish.
Yes. Take it away, Dr. Masanga.
Thank you very much. Viewers, wherever you are, I am very far from the studios today in the political command center, somewhere in an East African state, where I am right now. Thank you very much, viewers. I have said it, and I will continue to say it. There is nothing different from what my colleague, Dr. Nyachama, has said. It is the same. You cannot hold an election in a pandemic. Countries are grappling back. South Africa, which manufactures even some tablets, is grappling with a pandemic. Uganda is grappling with a pandemic because of the situation that is there, that engulfed after the elections being held in pandemic politics. The question of pandemic politics in Africa creates quite a lot of difficulties for us. And we should be very honest and genuine and tell the people, let's first vaccinate our people, then come back to the vote. The vote can wait. A constitution was put there to wait, to keep the vote, to make it not work. If things are not working, you return to the constitution and the viewers. But if you are now going to run because you want an election, because you want to be a president in 2022, that is rubbish. That is stupid. You are not considering the lives of the people of Kenya. I think the people now, we have seen from countries that have just gone through. Zimbabwe this morning has declared a war with America, because America is using medicine, vaccines to fight, to regime change in Zimbabwe. So, my dear brother, the question of elections, I told you, look, yesterday I told you, look at the signs. The signs are very clear, Nachama. And the signs are very clear on the wall, in the sky. You could know that Jesus is about to come back, the second coming or the third coming. And God told us, when you see something going to happen. Look in the skies and the sea. People will start talking in different languages, which we don't understand. And this is exactly what is happening. This disease is manufacturing several variants. It has now brought another variant called Beta. We were on Delta. Now we are on Beta. Tomorrow we'll be on variant Sad or variant Ocean. We don't know. So whoever is agitating to run a show, whoever is trying to run once an election, I'm telling you, check yourselves first. And I don't think Kenyans should be put in an election simply because they want an election. That's my view.
Dr. Masanga, perhaps if before I cross over to yet another panelist on this very point, I just want to get deeply your perspective on the same, because again, looking into the argument being advanced rather by those opposing any attempt to postpone next year's general election right here in Kenya, Dr. Masanga. Deputy President William Ruto has argued, and of course his allies argue, that that is an attempt by leaders who necessarily do not want to leave power. They want to cling to power, and just but giving excuses, not forgetting, Dr. Masanga, that the African Union member states really have signed a treaty that allows for deferment of election in case of such disasters like we are having the COVID-19 pandemic. The ACK, Anglican Church of Kenya bishops, led by its bishop, of course, that is Olesa Pitt, has also come out strongly to oppose any initiative or any effort to try and postpone election. What is your perspective, Dr. Masanga, about this argument that it's an attempt by leaders who are in power to continually want to cling to power, and not because of the pandemic that we are going through, Dr. Masanga? Briefly.
Which power is it that you want now? Show me the power that you want. What power do you want to hold when there will be no people to rule? There will be no people to rule, Mr. Tawish. If we go in the pandemic situation now, and we allow people, we have seen every time that you allow people to do campaigns or to come to rallies, the graph, the curve goes up, shoots up. The curve doesn't go down, the curve goes up. So if you are going to do campaign for 6 months, or for 1 year, or 8 months, from let's say January, and you are doing a full campaign, of which people are not going to follow the protocols, it is going to be very, very difficult for you to control the situation in Kenya. The best way that Kenyans can start thinking about this situation is now. You start thinking about what can you do. Can you postpone an election for 6 months, 1 year? The pandemic. Again, yesterday, I think most of you should have congratulated me straight away with my article. That's the way I write. And that's my feelings. If people don't know, challenge me. I write from a mass communication point of view. I'm not just a simple academic stupid one. No, I write for people to understand my points. And I wrote a very good article warning you that once Somalia and the Kenyan maritime conflict sparks off, or the decision is made by the ICJ, I don't think any of these countries is going to sit pretty to allow the other one to encroach on the Indian Ocean. So there is quite a lot of difficulties that we are facing in the region. Instead of going, that's why I've thrown out a way to go and sort some of these things to forestall the difficulties that we see at the moment. So for now, let me tell you, brother, whether you like it or not, you can dance on a needle. You didn't know that the terrorists will be in Mozambique. Did you know? No, you have just found them there. So Africa must be prepared. Africa should not go into elections with blind eyes. Across in Uganda, you saw what happened. Uganda had elections. Uganda now is, there are no cylinders. The hospitals almost went to full up. Museveni has closed the entire country in order to contain the pandemic. And then you tell me you are crossing Kenya because you want that you are bishop. Are you a bishop? Why don't you bring the miracle? Why doesn't Osapiti pray now and the miracle comes and everybody goes home? Kwenda muachane hiyo. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Masanga. Thank you for your perspective on that subject. Let me now cross over
and before you go, Tawish, you see, I have listened to Osapiti's reasoning, and I've listened to Raila Odinga's reasoning. As God told them when they are going to end, to be on earth. Someone is playing music. Has God told someone? Have we been told when we are going to end our lives? One of the reasons someone was telling me that, oh, if you push it, then Dr. Raila Amolo Odinga will not be able to stand. Who told you that Raila Amolo Odinga will not be there? Are we going to God and seen all these things? This is rubbish. The postponement of an election is for the good of a country. The country has no money. If the country has no money to pay for vaccines, we don't have even a full package of vaccines to vaccinate Kenyans. You want to give a country more trouble by ordering an election, which is going to produce more injuries, and you don't have the medicine. Plus, on top, a pandemic which is sweeping the whole world. What type of logic is that? There's no logic for me. I prefer a postponement, and I think that is how people will want to go. We have no alternative. How many of these MPs want their seats? These MPs are just making noise. But tell me who doesn't want money if the parliament is extended. Who doesn't want money? All of them want money. They are earning a salary. None of these MPs, if you extend the term, maybe they can pass, but some of them cannot come back. Let's even avoid and wait. You know, all these guys who are talking about postponement are corrupt. They are in a corruption scandal, cartels. They fear, they want to capture power, then turn the tide of anti-corruption crusade. If you can see the way they are politicizing the corruption issue, you can know and tell me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Masanga, for that. Let me now cross over to Nanyuki and get our panelists there, Javan Karanja, to give us his view about, of course, this latest development from the African Court on Human Rights. And specifically looking onto Kenya as an example, of course, there's been varied discussion, varied opinion as to whether or not we should postpone an election here in Kenya, the impending one in 2022. Javan Karanja, if you can hear me, do you believe or do you think it is the right thing for Kenya really to postpone the 2022 general election? And please give us your reasons. Over to you, Javan.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Tawish, and the rest of the panelists have made their contribution, Dr. Nyanchama and Dr. David Matsanga. For me, I buy the idea because at the end of the day, we need to protect our country, and we can do that by ensuring everyone is safe. We are in the midst of a crisis. We are dealing with a pandemic, and this is COVID-19. And you know how ravaging it is. It has caused a lot of havoc. It has claimed lives of Kenyans. People have lost businesses, and you know, the normal way of life that we used to know before this pandemic has been disorganized. Therefore, people are still struggling to bring back the sense of life that it was before COVID-19. Therefore, we need to ensure that we fight this COVID-19. We have all Kenyans vaccinated, and today I want to give a thumbs up to the Kenyans medics who have come up with a vaccine of our own, a Kenyan-made vaccine. I hope after the tests are done and the piloting, everything, I think this vaccine, from the way they are marketing it and from the information that are in public domain, I think this is a very effective vaccine, and it being made from Kenya, then I think this is a vaccine that we should go for so that we can promote our own researchers and scientists on that very issue. And I want to remind those guys, really, especially those who support the deputy president, we are not postponing the elections to extend the term of President Uhuru Kenyatta, but we are doing that for our safety. We are doing that so that we can streamline IBC and ensure that as we go for these elections, we'll have an IBC that is credible, an IBC that will guarantee Kenyans transparency in these elections. Therefore, it's not about extending the term of President Uhuru Kenyatta, but it's rather coming up with a system and structures that will ensure as we go for these elections, Kenyans will not fight because of a contentious presidential ballot. Kenyans will not fight because of IBC irregularities and malpractices. We want to ensure that everyone is safe, and that is where we are heading to. Therefore, on this issue of postponing the election, I think it's something that is good, and I saw on the dailies, the courts gave a nod on that. Therefore, this is a very good objective and a very good idea so that we can ensure that all Kenyans are safe, and we go for an election when IBC has all mechanisms to guarantee us credibility so that we will not fight. We don't want a repeat of what happened in 2007 in the name of elections in this country. I submit. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Javan Karanja. That is, of course, our panelist.
Tawish, you bring in Douglas, and after that, you cross over to international news.
Sure. Thank you so much, Dr. Masanga, for that. As you come in, Douglas Bundi Kirimi, I think it is also important for us to make that particular clarification that indeed President Uhuru Kenyatta himself has come out many times to say that he does not intend to extend his term even by an inch, even by a single day. And indeed, if there's any initiative or effort to postpone Kenya's election next year, it is not actually derived from President Uhuru Kenyatta's himself's consent rather, that he wants to extend his term, but indeed, if it is informed by the situation that Kenya is grappling with, and as far as the COVID-19 pandemic is concerned, and also the preparedness of the IEBC, that is the election body. I don't know, Douglas Bundi Kirimi, what do you have to take about this latest development in as far as the Kenyan case is concerned?
Thank you, Tawish, and also to Dr. David Masanga, and also to my co-panelists. Tawish, we want to make it very clear, like we have said before, that this postponement of elections is not about the president. He is not even interested in this, but it is to the best interest of the people of Kenya. That the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, postpones elections in this country and leaves this country peaceful, because we cannot have a situation where we have people like Deputy President William Ruto telling us that postponing elections is not a solution to COVID-19. Postponing elections, Dr. William Ruto, I want to respond to you, is a partial solution and a response to COVID-19. It's a positive response to COVID-19. Uganda did the same. Tanzania did the same. So many countries, including America, went to elections and they are reaping the same consequences of the same. William Ruto has been vaccinated using 2 different vaccines 4 times in this country, where the poor people cannot do anything for themselves, where poor people cannot even afford a meal after 2 years of grappling with COVID-19. This pandemic has given us an opportunity to postpone elections in this country, and also have an opportunity to have a Kenya where we can be able to
It appears we have lost Douglas. Douglas, can you hear me?
And also, Tawish, I want to make this very clear. An election, when we are burdened by taxes in this country, Kenyans cannot afford a meal. What is concerning Kenyans now is, are they going to afford a meal for their children? Are they going to pay school fees for their children? Are they going to have a better life? Not even elections like William Ruto is putting it. William Ruto is a power-angry baron who should not be condoned by the people of Kenya and the people of goodwill across the world. This is a power-greedy baron who wants to continue rooting the country like he has done since 1992, Oresisana Tawish. And I want to make it very clear. It is to the benefit of the people of Kenya for us to postpone these elections, because these elections are never even about Monanchi, a common man. These elections are about William Ruto, Raila Odinga, and a few other people in this country. Postponing presidential elections in this country is not giving Uhuru another chance to be president. Uhuru is not in this country put together a good electoral commission, chase away a biased man who is presiding over the electoral commission, and also build our economy before we go into an election. We can postpone these elections even by 2 years. We don't care, because it is the benefit of the people of Kenya to save poor people's lives, which William Ruto does not care about. Tawish, thank you.
Thank you so much, Douglas Bundi Kirimi. Unfortunately, it's like we almost lost you at some point, but however, you've made your point home. Now, I would like us to cross over to, of course, special coverage of the Biafrans in Düsseldorf, Germany. And I think before I just do that, Dr. Masanga, perhaps if you could just open it for us, what do we anticipate in this particular petition, and what kind of effect is it going to have in as far as, of course, the acquittal rather of Nnamdi Kanu, who is in detention in, of course, in Nigeria is concerned. Dr. Masanga, if maybe you can open it up for us.
First of all, I would like to address my brothers of the Biafran nation. And I want one, there are many who have come and they have got asylum doing businesses in the Republic of Kenya. Point number two, this television station does not work for the government of Kenya, but it broadcasts events that take place, of which we have broadcast already the event when we heard that Mr. Nnamdi Kanu had been allegedly as it is taken from Kenya, of the information which we have not officially been given any communication from the government of Republic of Kenya as to when, how it happened. I am addressing my brothers from Biafra because I have been in the struggle myself. I have been in a struggle for 36 years. For more than 36 years, I've been struggling against dictatorship in my own country. And it is very, very important for you people, the brothers of Biafra and the sisters of Biafra nation, to now start thinking and reasoning and putting out our messages, our pressure, our lobby, our petitions for the release of our leader. And I want to make it very clear that during this process, accusations and counter accusations, baseless accusations, don't help a struggle. We have not received any official communication from the government of Kenya to say what we should say or not say. We are not controlled by the government of Republic of Kenya. As soon as the information is available, if our leader Nnamdi Kanu comes in court on Monday, as we are expecting, or Tuesday, whatever date Buhari will bring him out, he will be able to explain to the lawyers, and we want to hear the message, what he actually wants. Most of you have already heard the message. He has never said we were part and parcel of whatever was happening. We are just a media house like any other. He could have gone for an interview with any other television, but he chose to go with an interview with us because we have been struggling and we have been keeping alert and we have been informing the world about the issues of Biafra. We have never shied away from condemning what President Buhari has been doing against the people of Biafra. Voluntarily, we have done it. Myself, I've never asked for anyone naira, no dollar, no, not even a pound, not even a ducat, not even any currency from anybody, any Nigerian, any Biafran, to broadcast the atrocities that have been committed on the people of Nigeria. I therefore want to ask you that as much as we are petitioning and mourning and are angry about what happened, it is not the first time that Buhari, in 1984, Buhari tried to kidnap Umar Diko. It is not new, therefore. He will continue to try to kidnap, to silence the voice of the people of Biafra. But that voice will not be silenced. I therefore want to make it clear that as much as you are condemning and insulting Kenya and insulting the president of Kenya, I want you to know that there are many refugees, Biafrans, who are in Kenya. And let it be known, we know the people now who are being paid to come to insult me or insult our television station. They are agents of the Biafran government, of the Nigerian government. Nigerian government has paid the people to tarnish our name because Nigerian government cannot explain to the international community how they were able to arrest